Want them out. And they will get out. Eventually, they will get out.
Because this is going to have repercussions and civil unrest.
Outside the Epping Asylum Hotel, protesters angry at today's court ruling gathered, cheered on by passing drivers. The news that, for now at least, the asylum seekers inside will stay was not what they wanted to hear.
We want them out. Want them out. And they will get out. Eventually, they will get out.
Because this is going to have repercussions and civil unrest.
You're sure about that?
Yeah, definitely.
And elsewhere apart from Epping?
Yeah, it's going to be all over now. It's going to be civil unrest, definitely.
The Court of Appeal lifted last week's interim injunction, which had ordered the hotel to be cleared. It said it could incentivise other protests and had ignored the impact on the asylum system.
What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong, but sort of ironically, like they used it in Good Morning Vietnam, where fucking terrible things are happening. It's been in my head all day. But let's not talk about the world going to shit, shall we? You've had enough of that. That's actually happening. Let's have 20 minutes off. Oh.
Well, the protest was due to start at 6 o'clock, but actually by then there were probably already 50 or so people here, and it was all very peaceful. They were waving flags. There was a little flurry of tension as people arrived with flares at about 6:15. They were shouting, "Send them back." But then it all calmed down when they were sent behind the barriers, and there was singing of Sweet Caroline, beeping of horns as cars went past. At 7 o'clock, they then headed a mile up the road to the council offices. There were shouts of "Shame on you." There was tension, bit of pushing and shoving with the police, and that was when the first of 3 arrests were made. Now, the police have made it very clear that actually it wasn't because she had unfurled a union flag on the steps of the council offices. It was in fact because she'd breached a Section 14 order. That places restrictions on exactly where the protests can be held. That didn't include the civic centre. So that was arrest number 1. There was also another arrest of a man because he'd refused to leave at the end of the protest. It should have finished at 8 o'clock.
The Minister's view, as it is said in the Home Office's submission to the judges on appeal, that the rights of asylum seekers trump the interests of local people who do not want those hotels to be open. It says so in the Home Office's submission. Do ministers agree that the rights of asylum seekers trump those of local people?
What we believe is that the Home Secretary and the government have a responsibility to make sure that we are doing our job in processing cases, in accommodating those in the interim who've come to our country. The decision that we saw arising out of the Epping case would have had bigger consequences right across the country that would have led to wider consequences in terms of disruption that would have caused. Look, it's far from ideal. Look, I don't want to be in the place of defending it.
That's what the judges said, but that's not an answer to the question I asked you. Do you agree with the Home Office's submission that the rights of asylum seekers are more significant, more material than the interests of the local populations?
It is about a balance of rights. When people come to this country and claim asylum, we have a responsibility as a government to assess their cases and to process them. For those who have got a clear right to be here, for those who have evidenced what they are facing in terms of persecution, refugees, then that will be decided. Where they don't, then we will take action to remove people from the country. So we do have a responsibility to process those cases. And yes,
and
to
the responsibility to those asylum seekers is more important than the responsibility to those who live locally.
Our responsibility to those who live locally is also important as well. And I completely understand why many people in places like Epping, where hotels have opened up, feel incredibly frustrated about that. They have a right, of course, to demonstrate lawfully and peacefully. Of course, where it crosses a line, that isn't consistent with our long-standing traditions in this country of respect for the rule of law, respect for the police,
hang on.
and our responsibility to make sure that we have safe communities for everybody living there. And given what is alleged to have happened in Epping, I appreciate this is an ongoing case, so I won't go too far in saying much about this. Given what is alleged to have happened, I can understand the concern that causes.
People felt absolutely betrayed. They felt like fucking mugs. Right? So they go, right, fuck it. But that's what being responsible is. It's, even though some other fucking idiots acting like a twat, that you don't. And I know it's, when they're in charge, it's even worse. But that's what being a grown-up is. It's not being a twat just because other people are twats. Anyway, cheers. Oh, fucking hell. And I'm not lecturing you. I'm not lecturing you. I'm honestly not. I'm venting. You know, I don't want to be that fucking celebrity in his ivory tower telling people how to live. I'm fucking sick of that as well. Oh, God. If I see another press release or of a celebrity fucking caring, Jesus Christ, shut the fuck up. You don't care. You're selling something. You're selling yourself. Oh, things they don't know about and haven't cared about. I'll do that. Listen, guys, I'm a celebrity, right? But I really care about you. I just care about you. The little guy. I care about you. I don't. You know I don't. I don't care about you. No, I do. And I just, thanks. And I want to give something back. Well, not give it, but sell it. Is that all right? Fucking hell.
Mr. Vice President, you've expressed some concerns in the past about free speech in the United Kingdom and Europe more broadly. Do you bring any kind of a message to the Foreign Secretary today on that subject?
Well, I'd say I've raised concerns about free speech in the United States of America. I think the entire collective West, the transatlantic relationship, our NATO allies, certainly the United States under the Biden administration, got a little too comfortable with censoring rather than engaging with a diverse array of opinions. So that's been my view. Obviously, I've raised some criticism and concerns about our friends on this side of the Atlantic. But the thing that I'd say to the people of England or to anybody else, to David, is many of the things that I worry most about were happening in the United States from 2020 to 2024. I just don't want other countries to follow us down what I think was a very dark path under the Biden administration. So in the spirit of having a good conversation, and recognizing the Secretary has a lot of things to do, unless you want to say anything else.
But, you know, there are areas where there are actually joint concern. We both have a joint concern about outcomes for working people. That is the truth of it.
Absolutely.
And we have also discussed issues like irregular and illegal migration and how we deal with those issues. So there are commonalities and then there are differences. And that is the joy of living in democracies like ours.
Okay. Thank you all so much. Good to see you all.
Thank you.